February 1980 continues to be a really busy month for you. You're going to team up with Paul Orndorff against the Freebirds, Michael Hayes and Terry Gordy. This is a little bit under a year before you're going to have your big encounter with the Freebirds in Georgia, which we will be talking about here on the show. Actually, probably in December of this year, we'll have that discussion. But for now, I'd like to know your thoughts on working with a young Paul Orndorff.
Hey, Paul was great. Paul was really good. And I met Paul in Mid-South.
Mm.
Yeah, I met him working for Bell Watts, and
Probably during this run.
and he was a real good guy, and a real good. I mean, Paul was from Florida, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
and I think he was it Paul. I'm wondering, one of the guys that I wrestled actually played. Like when I was playing college football, we played the University of Miami.
Okay.
And one of the guys that I wrestled that got into business, was on that team. The year that I don't know if it was Paul though.
Well, hang on. I'll look it up right now. We'll find out. He played the University of Tampa, and he was a
Yeah,
fullback there.
that was it.
Yeah.
It was Tampa.
How about that?
How about that?
So you ended up playing against Paul when you were in college, and now here you are, and he's your tag team partner in Mid-South.
Yeah,
Pretty cool.
yeah, and he was a good guy, but he was real easy to rib.
Oh, really? What was he, gullible?
He's pretty gullible.
Well, in just a couple of years, Paul is going to be the biggest heel in the wrestling industry during a time when the business is going to be really, really heating up, of course, during the early years of Hulkamania. Did you see Paul's early ability and comprehension of the business during this time? Like, this guy really got it?
Oh gosh, yeah, he had it, man. He definitely had it, and anything they gave him, he deserved. Believe you me.
He was in a hell of a spot, and infamously, while he's in this spot, Paul is going to go on to do some damage and some nerves, and he'll continue to work because he was making the towns opposite of Hogan, and the way that he apparently put it was that he was printing money during this run with Hogan. And if you take yourself out of the game, you stop getting paid, and Paul knew that. So he would end up continuing to work despite his injury, and it would do permanent damage to his arm, which would wither a little bit due to the nerve damage that he did to it during this run with Hulk Hogan. So, Ted, I bring all that up to ask you, if you can put yourself in Paul's shoes, do you think that if you were in the same spot with an injury like that, do you think you would have continued to trudge on like Paul did and risk this kind of permanent injury?
Marcus, it's hard to say because everybody evaluates an injury different.
Mm-hmm.
Is it really bad? I mean, if it was something that was just ongoing, I mean, obviously I would want to go to a doctor that could, tell me what, okay, what's wrong with it and how do we treat it and how do we fix it? And I don't know if Paul went to a doctor. If he did go to a doctor, probably the doctor probably told him, obviously to rest it and let it heal.
Yep.
And he didn't. And as a result, it cost him everything.
I think that's exactly what happened. Is I want to say that he went to a doctor, and the doctor was like, "Oh, you need whatever 6 months to let the nerve regenerate or whatever." And Paul's like, "You're telling me that I'm making whatever like 30 grand a week, and you're telling me that I need to take 6 months off? There's no way." And I think that, I mean, even me personally, thinking about this right now and not wanting to risk permanent injury, I'm like, boy, if somebody was giving me $30,000 a week, though, it would be really, really hard to stop, wouldn't it?
Hey, as somebody once said, everybody's got a price.
On the surface, I'd say, yeah, man, I'll take 6 months off. But boy, I don't think that would be the reality.